This is Epic Groupcast. I'm Anthony.
Hey, I'm Jordan.
This is Lawrence.
Today we're going to do a TV cast, and we're going to tell you what shows to watch this coming television season.
The 2013-14 season?
Yeah, we'll go with anything that's going to come out in 2013 or 2014.
I was just trying to figure out what year it was and what
cool.
year it will be next year.
Years
The whole
are hard to keep
Mayan
track
calendar being fake and not real. And
Oh, it's real. It exists.
well, yeah, but like the end of the world didn't happen, and now, like, I don't know what to do. I have tons of rations in my cabinets, and
You too.
yeah, man, it was like Y2K, but like this was for real.
Right.
Like, I don't know why some people were like, they really thought the world was going to end if we were like, Y2K is going to happen. Computers can't deal with extra numbers.
They don't understand 4-digit years.
Yeah. And then there's a big deal about like, people thousands of years ago looked at the sun enough to make a calendar, but it ends now.
It ends now.
Like, did not enough people understand that, like, if we today were like, we're going to make a calendar 5,000 years in the future, and like 5,000 years in the future, people were like, oh, scientists in 2013 said the world was going to end.
Right. I mean, I think like the longest calendar we make is like 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's true.
you know, that's...
We never
could be
know.
gone
I
any minute, you know?
really hope they freak out about it, and they're using an example of like a kitten calendar, where it's just like, hang in there. The world's not going to end.
Yep.
That would make me smile.
Okay.
First tangent. Got that down.
Boosh.
Yes. So what are we doing today, Anthony?
The first show that we're going to talk about, we'll go with my list. To start out, I want to see.
Well, what are we talking in today's podcast? Have we said that yet?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. I ruined everything.
that's okay.
Continue.
We'll allow it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start off today with a list of shows that I want to watch. Arrow Season 2 has me pretty excited.
The Green Arrow show.
The
on
Green
CW.
Arrow show on CW. It is a really good show. It really is.
How much did I watch? I think I watched like half the season. I think I watched it to about like January or something.
I recommend watching the whole thing when you comes
I'd
out
like
on
to.
DVD.
I didn't stop watching it because I didn't enjoy it. I think I just stopped watching it because it was that mid-season lull, like for every show, and I just forgot to get back into it.
And I think we talked about it before, and I started it, you know, I mean, at the beginning I started watching it, and I watched, I don't know, 5 or 6 episodes, and then I took such a break that before I watched the next episode, I had to go back and rewatch the first ones, and then I got to the point that I was, or barely past, and quit watching again for a while, so now I'm to the point that if I want to watch next season, I have to start all over from the beginning and watch season 1, but what I have seen, I did enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, this season 2, they've showed a trailer. I think they showed it at Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be introducing Black Canary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about that because she's already an established character on the show.
Continuity.
Continuity. That's right. They're going to have. They have Dinah Laurel Lance on the show, who is Black Canary in modern continuity.
Yes.
They're going to be introducing Dinah Drake this season as Black Canary, and she was the Golden Age Black Canary.
Mm-hmm.
But in modern continuity, she was made Laurel Lance's mother. And they've already showed Dinah Drake on the show.
Oh, they have?
As her mother, yeah. So
okay.
I don't know that they called her by name, though. But if so, that'll be 3 Dinahs on one show.
Yeah, but it's just like anything in media. Like, if you can make it work, make it work.
But, I mean, the short clip of her in the trailer looked really good.
She can butt with a bow staff.
Yeah, yeah.
And not screaming.
And not screaming.
I doubt she will.
Yeah, they
really
kind of have
doubt
a
she
no superpowers rule on the show.
Yeah.
Very, very Nolan-y show.
Interesting thing about Arrow, I read while at Comic-Con, I think it was the creator who said this, but they're really pushing to get Dick Grayson on that show.
I've heard
they want
rumor.
Nightwing on there.
I've heard rumor of that, but we'll have to wait and see. Right now, they're
I would love that.
They're gonna introduce this season show killer Summer Glau. Seems like every show that girl
She's
is added
not a
to,
show killer.
every show she's on goes down. But she'll have an interesting part trying to take over
Queen Industries.
Yeah.
What company does she? Have they said like what company she represents?
No, they haven't really said. I know that her comic book alias is the Queen, and I can't think of her actual name. She's a foreign character with a funny name.
I'm trying. I wish I could remember what her name was in like Firefly and Sarah Connor Chronicles, but can't.
She was Cameron on Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
They had a James character and a Cameron character on that show.
Yeah.
Weird. Anyway.
Figure out that puzzle.
But then they're gonna also add Brother Blood this season.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna get a cult gathered together against the Queen family, so I think that'll be interesting.
I'm cool with that, because like everything they've done so far in that show, like for instance the Royal Flush Gang.
Oh yeah.
Like in the comics, they usually have like not necessarily powers, but like tech that gives them power like stuff,
Right.
and they just made them like a family that is robbing stuff. And I was totally on board with that. It was just like slight nod to like, hey, we care about you fans.
Right. Yeah, I did. I liked the Royal Flush Gang episode. They're also going to add Michael J. White as the Bronze Tiger, so I'm kind of interested to see how that plays out. He was Spawn.
Oh, okay.
If you're
I
wondering,
was trying to think of who he was.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
He was Spawn, and he was in the Dark Knight. He was Gamble in the Dark Knight.
Yeah. He hated clowns.
He did. He did hate the clown.
Let me show you a magic trick.
Okay, the next show on my list is The Walking Dead Season 4. I'm excited to see that. I think I think I'm not alone in that.
They should just, like, make the tag for that season of, like, I don't know, conflict from within. Because that whole trailer, just, all that told me was, like, people were going to be upset and have inner conflicts among the group of survivors.
Yeah, I gotta say that you need to check out the trailer if you haven't seen the trailer yet. Season 4 looks really good for what they showed of it. And they show quite a bit. It's almost 5 minutes long, I think. They show quite a lot going on. Murderer in the prison, perhaps, and someone sabotaging him from the outside, most likely the governor. But I hope that the governor has an inside man, and that there's also maybe a psychopath, too, who just coincidentally is doing his own thing.
I'm sure
On
they're
the inside.
probably both.
I think that would be interesting.
The biggest thing about that show for me is it's enjoyable, but like I've read the comics from beginning up until this last volume, so like there's probably like 8 issues I haven't read yet.
You'll be happy though this season because they're supposed to do the most straight from comics to live action scenes this season, which is probably like 2.
Yeah, but like the thing for me is like they've done so many weird things with that show of like killing off characters that are big deal in the comics for a long period of time, which I'm fine with. I totally get that. And there's a big falling out with that show. I understand that.
Right.
But like, for instance, Dale, who died in season 2, I think, like he's the one who loses his foot in the prison.
Right.
And then they replaced it with Herschel. And my thinking was like, why do we need to do that? I don't get that. And I don't know. If they're following so many things in this season in the comic, they're really not in the prison for that long. I mean, they're there for a long period of time, but they don't spend a lot of time in the comic, you know, like showing the prison and things.
I don't think they're going to be there a lot this season. I bet they leave.
I'm sure
the way the trailer is showing, it looks like they're going to leave pretty soon.
That's probably the most interesting about that show is just having for them change like where they're shooting all the time, especially like that.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was the beginning of season 3 or something that before they even got to the prisons, a lot of moving around and stuff. Like that's hard to do for any kind of show because I feel like you're always moving and you can't relax as a viewer.
Right. Also this season though, they're going to show some standalone governor episodes, I believe, pretty early on. Show what he's been up to, and you won't see the prison at all. You'll just see him being bad, I hope.
I'm fine with that. I liked the guy playing the governor. He did a very, very good job with him.
Oh, yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Also on my list, you guys are going to laugh, but I'm going to throw out The Originals. It is a CW spinoff to The Vampire Diaries.
How old are you again?
Yeah.
It's alright. I've known that you're a teenage girl for some time.
This is... My problem with The Vampire Diaries is that every other episode, they're either planning a kegger or some dance at the school. And so that kind of takes away from the cool vampire stories that the show actually has some interesting plots.
Are you trying
You
to
get distracted by all of the high school nonsense. Well, the new show is going to be about the original family,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not in high school. So I
Okay.
think it has the potential to be
I'm
a
little
good
upset
show
now.
because they're taking the best character from the Vampire's Diaries,
Mhm.
Klaus. He's a hybrid vampire werewolf,
Mhm.
and they're moving him and giving him his own show, and then his brother and I believe his sister is going to come along too, Elijah and Rebecca, and they're going to be located somewhere else, and hopefully we won't have as much teen drama.
It sounds
with this
like
show.
Vampire Diaries is set in the town of Footloose, and that makes me smile. No, there's one's drinking and dancing.
Drinking and dancing. That's all they do. And the last thing that I'm going to mention is Doctor Who Season 8, which I don't think it's going to start. I don't have any air dates on that. I don't think it'll start till 2014 when it picks back up. But the reason why I say to watch is Matt Smith will be leaving. So be sure to check out the 50th anniversary this year. He said he's going to be in that, and he'll be in the Christmas special. But after that, I'm pretty sure he's going to leave the show.
Have they announced
is he-
who his replacement?
Is he a doctor? Or is he the doctor?
He's the doctor.
He's the doctor.
So they haven't announced who is going to be replacing him. But if anyone saw spoilers, spoiler alert here. If anyone saw the episode "The Name of the Doctor," it ends and you see John Hurt, and it credits him as the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But he's an older gentleman. You guys might know him from Hellboy. He played
Yeah.
Hellboy's dad.
Yeah.
So I don't see him being the full-time replacement for
They're
Matt
not gonna
Smith
make him the replacement.
being the youngest Doctor. I don't see them replacing him full-time with John Hurt. But we'll just have to see how that
They
works
need
out.
a young, attractive doctor to continue to
Right.
get their ratings.
See, I know it's like really popular to like Doctor Who right now, but I've never even watched one episode of it.
Me neither. I'm okay with it.
Which is
But-
weird for me because I love time travel stuff. You know, like it seems like the kind of show that I
It's
would
true.
love, but I've just never watched it.
Super
It
campy.
takes a while to get in there, but once you
Right.
do, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you give it till David Tennant arrives. I mean, everybody loved Tennant, but I think Matt Smith's great. And I really like Eccleston's stuff too, but he was a one-season Doctor, and
Yeah.
so he's not necessarily as popular as the young and handsome David Tennant, you know.
Yeah. Doesn't he have so many times he can change his face or whatever? The Doctor. And aren't they getting close?
Regenerate,
To
yeah.
that?
Yeah, he's getting close to the end, but somebody told me that they put a loophole in somewhere.
Of course.
And, you know,
Oh,
I
that's
watched
fine.
all the episodes pretty quick, so I might have missed some things.
Yeah. Netflix for me. So what else do you got on your list? I wish we could say more about Doctor Who, but Lawrence and I just don't really watch it all that much.
Yeah, I would recommend it. I think you guys should start watching it, especially Lawrence.
Oh, I've got Supernatural right now, and that show makes me smile
Supernatural
every time. Yes.
is pretty good. Yeah, I've been watching back episodes on it. But that right there completes my list, I do believe.
Cool. Lawrence. What shows are you excited about this fall?
I've got a lot here.
Yeah.
A lot of TV.
List.
I'll start with Almost Human. I think I'm just going to go in alphabetical order.
That'd be the best.
I didn't even know you did that. That's impressive. Oh yeah, Almost Human. That's the show on Sci-Fi with isn't it?
I was going to say, I don't know. You're the one that just told
that's
me
Being
about it a
Human.
minute ago.
Almost Human. Yeah, Almost Human is that's the new show coming out this fall with J.J. Abrams producing it. It's pretty much a future buddy cop like drama with Carl Urban being Carl Urban as a police officer, like he always is and does it well. And then in the future, every cop is assigned this, I don't even remember what they call it, but it's essentially a robot.
Robot sidekick?
Robot sidekick, yeah. It's
Android, maybe.
Yeah, it's like a android. Like, imagine RoboCop with no human feelings. That's what these robots are. And they're all assigned to him, and he is all like rebelling against it, but then he gets a robot that's not really fully robot. Like he wants to be a human, and
Is it a girl?
So, like,
Because
a cyborg?
no,
I think they did a show like that where they had a man and a robot partner, and she was female, and she started having feelings for him.
I'm sure they did, but like this is dude and another dude. But I guarantee you, the only reason why this show got picked up is because J.J. Abrams is producing it.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, and I'm okay with that. Like, I think it looks pretty interesting.
Is Parkman going to be in it?
No, but I wish he would. I wish he was in more stuff.
He's in every J.J. Abrams thing.
That's true. I'm sure he'll show up as just like the voice of a character.
Yeah.
Like he's
He'll be Captain Kirk's dad.
stepdad.
Stepdad.
Yeah.
Right.
Who in the far future has an old car for today's time.
Yeah.
Like that's impressive.
And he loves Beastie Boys.
Who wouldn't?
That's a good point. My next show is Being Human. Do either of you guys watch Being Human?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I
Well,
watched like I think the first few episodes of the first season. Like I kind of kept up with it, and
Yeah.
you've talked to me about it. So
Yeah.
I saw the first episode.
I really enjoy it. I started watching it, when it came on Sci-Fi because, Sam Huntington, Sam Witwer are both in it, and I like both of those guys.
Mhm.
And, basically for those who haven't seen it, it's a vampire, a werewolf, and a ghost that kind of live in the same apartment, and which sounds really kind of corny and cheesy. It's based on a UK show, but I don't know, I really like the writing on it, and I really like Sam Witwer and Sam Huntington on the show. I think they work well together, and I think that I just like to listen to those guys talk to each other, and just hang out and the lives of a vampire and a werewolf, and
Like I said, the episodes I've seen, I really liked it, and I like the fact that they don't make it like super campy and hokey.
it gets that way at times for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
But I mean, I don't know, it's hard not to at times,
I mean, it sounds like the premise of like a Saturday morning cartoon show for kids.
Right.
Like
Nowadays, yeah.
yeah,
But it's not. I mean, it's good. Big Bang Theory. I put it on my list just because I'm so invested in it by this point that I can't quit watching it, even though, and I know we've talked about it, if you watch the last episode of this last season and the first episode of the first season, you wouldn't even recognize the characters anymore.
Yeah.
They're just completely different people now. I mean, it's...
I want to ask. You watch Big Bang too, don't you,
No.
Anthony? You don't? Well, okay. You should watch that, especially the first 2-3 seasons.
Yeah,
are
the
really
first few
good.
seasons are really good.
Yeah.
And then they just they're like, oh, well, we need to kind of give them a love interest, So then
Yeah,
everybody's in a relationship now, and it's just ridiculous because in the first episode of season 1, you're like, these guys will never be in a relationship because
Yeah.
they're so weird.
So I'm curious with you, Lawrence. And you mainly because you said this, you're just so invested with it. Do you get as much joy out of watching that show as you used to?
It's still got some laughs,
Mhm.
I mean, it's still funny, and it's still Penny running around with very little clothes on. So
See,
as long
that-
as they have that, I'll keep watching.
That's been my biggest complaint. Is if you watch from beginning of the show to now, there's a lot of changes, but for the most part, only now 2 characters have made any real growth at all. We're still, are Penny and Leonard going to get together?
Right,
Is Sheldon ever going to be not a douchebag?
right.
And is he ever going to understand that his girlfriend wants to have sex with him? There's so many things about that show that are it's the gag that's been going for 6 seasons,
Right.
and it's almost like How I Met Your Mother, where it's all right, when are we going to see the reason why we're watching this show?
Right.
And I don't know. And I don't like the fact that it's turned from 4 guys that are just socially awkward and trying to understand this world and funny things ensue to Sheldon just being mean because he's smart.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
not fun to
I
me
think in the
anymore.
early seasons, Sheldon wasn't necessarily mean to people. He was just ignorant.
Yeah, he didn't know any better.
of
And
social
now it's just
interaction. And now it's
I'm smart and you
I'm
should know
smarter
that.
than you, so my opinion weighs heavier than yours.
Yeah, well.
But I don't know. I do still enjoy it, so I'll keep watching it.
I'm curious. I'd like to hear in the comments of what people think of that show, because that to me that's a show that's it's just changed so much from the first season that it's almost like not the same show
Yeah.
anymore.
No, I mean, it started off, in my opinion, really strong,
Yeah.
you know, and then they tried to make it more suitable for a broader audience.
hmm
And basically what they've done is just murdered the characters and turned it into a relationship show, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
now it's all about how they're all interacting with their girlfriends and how the girlfriends are interacting with each other, and
Yeah. Like, it's still funny. It's just, I started watching that
it's
show
just a
'cause-
different show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how they portray geeks and stuff like that. And for the longest time, I felt like they really got it right for, like, people that are, like, grossly involved in that world.
Until they started getting girlfriends. Because
Right, because that doesn't happen in real life,
Like,
especially like Penny.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah,
there's no way a guy like Leonard would be with a girl.
No. And they constantly joke about that,
Right.
which is fine, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Comedy, dead horse stick. Just keep
exactly.
beating me with it.
Next, I have Community. One of my favorite shows that's on the air right now.
Mhm.
is it coming back for sure, though?
Yes.
It's coming back for sure. Dan Harmon is returning to the show, so that's good. The
Mhm.
bad part is, you know, Chevy Chase last year it was gone, and this year at Comic-Con, Donald Glover, or maybe right before Comic-Con, Donald
Mhm.
Glover announced that he's only going to be in 5 episodes of the next season.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he wants to work on his Childish Gambino music. Isn't that his name? Childish Gambino?
Oh, I don't even know
I
what
think
his
so.
name
I'm
is.
pretty sure.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But supposedly his music is good.
right. But
But
I love Troy. And I love Abed and Troy and Abed interacting, and I'm going to
In
miss
the
that a
morning.
lot.
yeah.
about
Well,
the
I
show.
mean, the question is can that show continue on whenever, like you mentioned the other day, and just now a little bit, Chevy Chase is gone.
Right.
They could
Troy.
go on without Pierce.
Yes.
Right.
but
yeah.
Donald
Yeah, but
Glover
now
leaving
also
after
Troy's
5.
leaving.
Right, yeah.
And Jeff graduated.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
yeah.
sure Jeff will show up.
yeah, he'll still be in the show, but I mean, he's not going to be
But
in it
yeah,
as
what,
much, I wouldn't think. I mean, what's he going to do? Show up to the study group for
yeah, like on
classes
his
that
one
he's
show,
not
You
in.
know what? You know what he should do?
Hmm.
He should teach law,
I have a feeling that's what they're going to do, just so they can
and they'll
keep
all
him.
take his class.
Yeah,
which,
probably.
yeah, I mean, do you guys both watch it?
I
Yeah.
haven't seen the newest season.
Okay, well, I don't want to talk about how the last season ended yet. They're because
Oh, it's like
I
did
don't
something
know.
happen in the end of
Well,
the season to set it
kind
up?
of. I mean, not really. I mean, they just a way to keep Jeff around, kind of.
But Joel McHale
Mm-hmm.
introduced the panel at Comic-Con for Community.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have been, though, a video recording. I don't think he was actually there.
Uh-uh.
Anyway, and he ended his comment, or he ended his opening with 6 seasons and a movie.
Right, because
That's-
they've been doing that
yeah, that's their big
forever.
thing.
I know
mean,
they've been doing that.
ever since the Cape. I think it came from the Cape thing, right? With Abed.
Yeah.
Like when the Cape first came out in that
Oh,
episode,
yeah.
Abed's like, he's like, the show's, like Jeff got mad at him. He's like, the show's going to be canceled in a year or something like that. And he's like, 6 seasons of the movie.
Yeah.
And then he ran away.
That-
I
Yeah,
think.
and then he was dressed like the Cape.
in Cougar Town and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I
And then,
enjoy it.
and even a couple episodes, or at least one episode, I know ended with the hashtag 6 seasons in a movie. But
Yeah,
wasn't
for
it
the
like-
finale.
and they
Yeah.
all are tweeting it all the time. I mean, I know it was on Twitter a lot for a while there, at least.
Yeah.
So
Real trending hashtags.
I hope they make it to 6 seasons and a movie, but I don't think they will.
Like, I was thinking about that the other day. I would be totally fine if they make it to 6 seasons, but what are you going to do in a Community movie?
Well, and you have to think of, they've got Annie, Abed, Shirley, Britta, and maybe kind of sort of Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've got those 5 people, but are those people as interesting whenever you don't have, like, ignorant, racist Pierce and silly, funny Troy? Especially to bounce off Abed. Like, what are they going to do with
Right,
Abed?
I know. That's what I'm worried about. Like, yeah.
I hate it when they make Abed crazy. They make him dark sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really, really crazy. And I hate that because he's the character I relate to the most on the show.
But I like
He's
that.
the only sane one.
Yeah, yeah. That's the biggest thing I like about that show is like they paint Abed as like super crazy, but then all the time they're just like, but he's the sanest one in this group.
Right.
So, that was an episode, wasn't it, where they're having to fill out these
Yeah, they
these
filled out the-
personality things,
Yep.
and Abed's
Psychology.
Abed's the only one that's not in a white room.
Right.
But yeah, they said though that they're going to go back to basics with this season of Community. Start fresh at the beginning, I guess, in a way.
If they go back to the same tone of like season 2, I would love that because love season 2 is my favorite season of that show.
But they've went so crazy over the top. I think it's going to be hard to.
But they go crazy
bring it back in
over the top on purpose. I mean, it's
right,
like
I
it's supposed to
understand.
be that way.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I think it'll be more difficult to tone the show down, especially if you think of first season. You know,
first season was very toned down, I think, compared to everything else.
right? And they said they were going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting to see because this last season was very different from the other seasons, and Dan Harmon had no involvement in it.
Right.
But I think it says a lot for NBC that they sucked it up and were like, "Hey, we would love for you to come back because we may or may not have ruined this show."
Right. Yeah, I mean, I have high hopes for it. So.
Yeah.
me too. As long as it's on, I'll watch it.
Yeah, me too. Same thing with the next show I have is How I Met Your Mother. We finally met the mother at the end of the last season. Everybody knows that by now.
Mm-hmm. Well, we didn't meet her; we saw her.
Right, we saw her.
Yeah.
And this season is all takes place during one weekend. Is what I've heard. Like, the entire season is over a 3-day period.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like the beginning of last season and also the end of last season was Barney and Robin's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And so next season, I mean the season ended at their wedding. They're getting ready to get married. Well, the next season is the entire wedding weekend.
Okay.
So the
like
entire next season takes place over that whole weekend because like Marshall and Lily are leaving. That's how like last season ended, and
yeah, that's true.
And they're getting married, so they're going to be going off on their honeymoon or whatever. And Ted's going to meet the mother, and I assume spend the weekend with the mother, and get to know each other. And blah, blah, blah. So, did you guys watch the video from Comic-Con of the kids on the couch?
That made me laugh a lot.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it's just like the kids are yelling at Bob Saget's voice,
Yeah.
And he's like, "Kids, let me tell you about the time." He's like, "Dad, why do you keep telling us about all these sluts that you keep banging?" And it's like, we haven't left this couch in 8 years. We've been shitting in a bucket.
It was really funny. It was. Oh my gosh! I think I liked it more just to show like how much those kids have aged, and like if they did bring him back for this last season, it would be.
Well, I actually heard
weird
that when they, during the first season when they were taping all the kid segments, they actually taped the end then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that way they would still look the same age, and you notice it as the show goes on, you see them less and less, and it's usually just a quick shot of them, like reaction shots or something, and I'm sure they could have filmed that way early on.
My interesting thing with this is like, how do you do, and I'll bring this up with another show that I'll talk about, but how do you do a show that's over a weekend, like 20 episodes?
Yeah, over a 3-day period.
Weekend.
Right.
24.
It's gonna, it's gonna be like 24 basically.
Like that would be so crazy.
Jason Segel, he pitched the best ending for that show and actually got it shot down.
What was that?
He wanted it to end with the father speaking to the children and say, "And that's how I met your mother," and then he tears open the curtains, and it's a post-apocalyptic future, and they grab their shotguns and run out. And they said absolutely not.
That would make me laugh.
But that would be the best ending for any show.
Or I really hope that, like, it's actually... I can't remember what the show is called, but it was a drama back in, like, the 80s or 90s, and it had, like, Denzel Washington and Mr. Feeney in it. They were doctors, and the end of that show ended up being that it was just a child with, I think, like, autism that made it up all in his head.
Was it Chicago Hope? Is that what it was?
I think it was. Like,
really?
Yeah, like, I want it to be Bob Saget talking... thinking he's talking to kids on the couch.
And he's just crazy and all alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, none of it actually happened, and he never had a friendship with Marshall. He just had a psychotic breakdown when he was, like, 20-something.
Something I read online was that, it was just, talking about, like, stuff that they think would be funny for the end of the show.
Yeah.
And they're like, what if it's not even like his wife? What if it's like these kids' mom and he's just like a one-night stand or something?
Yeah.
And he stayed the night, and the next morning he's like, kids, you want to hear the story about how I met your mother?
That would be good.
Oh man. Oh. I'm curious to see how that's just weird to me. I kind of hope they don't do the whole weekend thing.
Yeah.
Because that just seems so hard.
Right, to fit all of that in.
It makes me think that every episode is just going to be about a single conversation that they have.
They need the clock in the bottom, just like 24.
24. Countdown to mother.
Yep.
I'd be okay with that.
The mother of all weekends.
You have to have
I'm
Jack
worried
Bauer
about this
involved.
season, but that is a show that I can just sit down and just pick episodes and watch them at random.
Yeah.
You know, I love that show. I love the characters a lot. My next show is, I put down Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't really know a lot about the show, but I still am excited to watch it.
I think I'm the more and more I read about it and see trailers and stuff, I really think it's just going to be like a drama cop thing, like investigation, like almost like Creature of the Week kind
Right.
of thing, but just in the Marvel universe.
But
So,
if you've seen the trailer
mhm.
for this, it looks very expensive.
Yeah, it does.
So
Yeah, it
enjoy it
does.
while it lasts.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, people are going to watch this. I guarantee people are going to watch it because Marvel's done a really good job with
Because of the Avengers.
Yeah. Which the only reason that this show is being made is because of the Avengers.
Right.
I think it'd be cool if, like, you know, they have people show up once in a while, you know? I mean, like,
They're
heroes or something that'll show up would be kind of neat.
They said Maria Hill will show up,
yeah,
but
that's
she's
about
about
it.
the only one that they've mentioned.
Pretty much everyone in the
Not
entire
even Nick
Avengers.
Fury ever.
Nope, in the entire Avengers movie, the only two people that'll show up will be Agent Coulson for sure, and they pretty much said that because he's in the show, he's not going to be in any more movies
Because it's a
because it's like
top secret that
Yeah.
he's alive.
yeah, kind of the idea that like not even the Avengers will know that he's still alive.
Right.
And then Marie Hill will pop in every once in a while because I think they may be going to make her director of Shield and Sam Jackson kind of step off because I don't know.
I think that'd be weird.
It's Mr. Comic Guy. That's how it is in the current comics. Like Marie Hill's been director of Shield for years, so I think it'd be good. I agree with you though. Like if it doesn't get the ratings it needs to, like.
Because they're going to have to get some serious sponsors. It looks expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, they show you Iron Man and Hulk footage in the trailer.
Yeah.
And some of it didn't look like it was necessarily from the Avengers movie.
You have like quick snaps shots and
Right.
stuff. Isn't that expensive? It'll be
So-
the day-to-day kind of stuff. But tons of shows make their pilots much more expensive, and then so they can be picked up. And
Right.
and it's going to be on CBS, isn't it?
ABC.
ABC.
Yeah, it's
ABC's going to pick
Disney.
it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Disney will keep it up for at least one season.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
hell, they might even keep it for 2 or 3 just because it'll go on. They're really pushing the whole keeping it intertwined with the Marvel movies.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Next on my list, I have the Michael J. Fox show. Have you guys heard about
I'm
it?
glad you put that on there.
Yeah,
glad
like,
you did.
I'm actually kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
Do you know about it?
I've heard it mentioned, but I don't know what it's going to be about. I know it exists.
Basically, I think that Michael J. Fox plays a character. It's loosely based on his life, kind
Yeah.
of, is what I've heard.
Yeah.
But he's a famous like newscaster or something like that. It's a newscaster or weatherman or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's on the news, I think.
Lots of people get to be on the news.
Right. I mean, not for the right reasons, like killing people or
Michael J.
anything.
Fox actually had a 15 seconds.
Didn't run
of
a
fame.
bus off the road or something. He actually just told the news. Well, he retires because he gets Parkinson's. I think it's actually Parkinson's in the
Yeah,
show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even. And so after a few years of being retired, he decides to come back and start doing the news again. I guess he was really famous in this town,
Yeah.
in the town that he lives in.
Right.
So he decides to come back and start doing the news again, and it's just about, trial and tribulations of a guy living with Parkinson's, trying to, move on, do everyday things, and how he has to interact with people and how people interact with him now that he's been diagnosed with this disease. And it just looks really interesting, and I think that it'll be really good.
Are you excited about it like I am about how it kind of looks like pseudo Spin City 2.0?
Yeah.
Like, I love Michael J. Fox's comedy style in Spin City, and I hope it's like this in that show.
Yeah. I just really like him in everything he's been in. I loved him in Scrubs, and I loved him in Back to the Future, of course, and Family Ties is a classic.
I think it'll be. I hope it'll be good. I think that's another show that they're going to push for at least an entire season, even if it does really poorly in the beginning.
Yeah, but I don't think it will. I mean, I think that enough people like Michael J. Fox that it'll be, I think it'll get at least a couple seasons.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
Yeah. Michael J. Fox show, 2 thumbs up.
Yes.
Before I even see it.
Next, possibly my favorite show on television, New Girl.
Yes.
I love this show. Every episode is just amazing, I think. I laugh out loud at almost every single episode. I love the characters on this show. At first, I was like, I don't know, like, this is way over the top. Jess is so ridiculous,
She is so funny, though.
But, yeah, I've grown to love her.
That show is a wonderful example of, like you said, loving every character, but for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I don't know, it was kind of gradual even, like I said, with Jess, at first I'm like, gosh, she is so weird and awkward, this is uncomfortable, and then, you just get to like her, of course, and Schmidt, you're just like, man, this guy is a douchebag, the first few episodes, and then he's probably my favorite character on the show right now. Yeah. And Nick, I've always liked Nick.
I love Nick.
But I like him so much more now than I did in the beginning. And up until this last season, like, Winston was just background, you know. And then I think that really, we were talking about it last night, even the kidnapping episode where they were kidnapping Chevrong before the wedding. That episode is one of my favorite episodes ever, and it's because of Winston. He is so funny in that episode.
I really want them to kind of focus a good chunk of season 3 on Winston's character, because I think they've done that for every other character except for him. Mm-hmm. And it'd be good.
Yeah.
I'd like to also see Schmidt's relationship with his mother, like how much that messed him up as a kid.
Yeah.
I think that'd be funny to see.
I don't know, I'm excited about Fat Schmidt.
Yeah.
I mean, air quotes, Fat Schmidt. I mean, but him and what's-her-name's relationship, if that keeps going, I think that she's great, and I think that I love him when he's with her, so.
I would like to see, I can't remember the actress's name, but I hope that, regardless of what happens in season 3, I hope that she stays around, because she's a cool character.
Yeah, I liked her.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like it. I like the show. I like the character. I like Schmidt a lot. I love Nick Miller. I mean, what's not to love about Nick?
Right. No, Nick's great.
He's like a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
That's another show, though, that I'm like, that's true. He is a grumpy old man.
What was the episode where, like, he was in the pool with that old man, wasn't it?
Working on his anchor.
Yeah.
Was rocking him like a baby.
Yeah.
My only worry about that show is kind of how my worry was for How I Met Your Mother, and that is, like, Zooey Deschanel and, I can't think of the actor's name. It's like Jake something, I want to say.
Kasdan? Is it? No,
not
Kasdan.
I can't remember. But, like, both of those the actors are really busy with other stuff. And, like, Troy, like, leaving Community because he wants to focus on his music. Like, I hate when that happens, when I get so invested in a show and people are just like, just leave because they don't want to be a part anymore. And it's like, that's the reason I like that show.
I've got something else I gotta do, so.
Yeah.
Screw you guys, I'm out.
Jake Johnson.
Jake Johnson. He's had so many good movies lately, too. Like, Safety Not Guaranteed. That you would like. That's a time travel movie. You have to watch it.
I started it, and then I think I fell asleep. I mean, I was really tired when we started it.
No. You don't have to preface it. If you didn't like it, that's fine. Just tell me.
No, that's why I explained, because I was enjoying it, I think.
My wife falls asleep through most of the movies that I start too, so it's okay to say you hate it.
Right.
What else do you have, Lawrence? We've got to keep going or I'm going to lose myself here.
you guys might make fun of me. I know Anthony won't because I'll punch him in the face. Once Upon a Time is on my list.
See,
and Anthony watches it too. That's why he won't make fun of me.
Well, for me, the problem with that show, and it's not even a problem with the show, is like I was like you guys when I first saw it. I thought this is stupid and ridiculous, and I know it'll never work. And every guy friend I have that has watched that show, they're like, "Dude, you're missing out. This show's fantastic."
Well, see, that's my thing. Is like, and I know that Anthony's surely the same way. If we weren't forced to watch this show from the girls that we're with, then we wouldn't be watching the show now. But since I have watched it, I'm glad I did, and I really enjoy it. And I love, what's wrong with my brain? I can't think of people's names.
Rumpelstiltskin?
Yes, Rumpelstiltskin. What's his real name?
I don't even remember his name in Stargate Universe. That's the poopy thing.
It's Robert
Carlyle.
Yeah.
Robert Carlyle.
Can I just say, like, here's a question for you guys. Would you guys be okay with that show canceling so Robert Carlyle could go back and do Stargate Universe again?
No.
You know what? I don't like Stargate Universe as much as everybody else in the world. I love SG-1. I love Atlantis. I did not love Universe. But maybe it's because I never watched Battlestar Galactica. And they say that Universe is basically, if Stargate and Battlestar Galactica had a baby, it would be Stargate Universe.
That's true.
Here's my thing. I would be happy if Once Upon a Time got canceled and they took him and put him in Stargate Atlantis.
Oh,
if they brought back Atlantis and Robert Carlyle was in it, I would be totally fine with that. Because actually, he was my favorite part about Universe.
Mine too.
I mean, I watched.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't even finish Universe. I watched.
That's why you don't like it.
You've
only seen the first season.
Yeah,
you have to watch the second season.
I watched the whole second season. Still hate it. His character, Dr. Rush.
Yes.
On Stargate Universe. I hated him whenever the show started. I hated him, and I was on board with Young.
Yeah.
What was he? Was he Colonel?
Colonel Young.
Colonel Young. And they get in a fight on a planet, and he leaves him for dead.
Yeah.
Right.
He leaves Rush behind, and I'm like, yes! Yeah. We're done with this guy. And he comes back.
Yeah.
Through the help of some aliens.
Yeah.
And as the show goes on, it's a total flip. Because I would way rather be on Rush's side than Colonel Young's. I think Colonel Young was a piece of trash by the time the show was over.
Because that show, it was weird. The first season, they were really pushing the whole, like, conflicts among characters on this ship. And it was very low-key and things like that. But then, like, season 2 really ramped up to more, like, adventures. And you started being introduced to, like, the reoccurring aliens and stuff like that. And, like, I just thought that was so much more interesting.
They piled on way too much back drama that wasn't necessary for a Stargate show. I mean, you had a guy...
But that's the thing. They were making it not they said in the very beginning, this is not like any of the Stargate shows we've done before.
Which is a good way not to get your Stargate fans to watch it.
Worked for me.
Me too.
I enjoy that show still.
But
I would kickstart a direct-to-DVD sequel to that. I'm okay with that.
Atlantis? Yeah, that's okay.
Both Atlantis and Universe.
I want to see Atlantis Extinction.
Actually, if Kickstarter came out with anything Stargate Atlantis, I would pledge to the rank of, I don't want a movie, I want 6 seasons in a movie. Like,
6 seasons.
That's what I would do.
Another season of Atlantis, that'd be nice.
Because even though... Like, if you think about it, the villain of Atlantis, like the Wraiths, they're really not that interesting. But the characters
I like the Wraith. I like them way more than the Goa'uld.
I like the Goa'uld better than the Wraiths.
Oh, no, not me.
But I like the Wraiths better than what were the guys in SG-1 at the end? The Orion.
The
Ori.
Ori, yeah.
Ori. Man, that was so dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb.
I don't know. I didn't hate the Ori storyline. I like Daniel Jackson Ori. Like, I don't know. I love Daniel Jackson.
Oh, he wasn't an Ori.
Or what was he?
He was a prophet, but I can't think of what they called him.
I don't remember. It's been so long since
The Ori just seemed so weird to me. I just felt like it was such a cop-out where they're like, let's just go evil ancients.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
They defeated everybody else.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they had to keep going bigger.
I would have much rather spent the last 2 seasons of SG-1 talking about how they really are trying to spread humanity out to these other worlds that they found.
Right.
I would, and then like all like the bad stuff that happens when we do that. I would much rather spend 2 seasons doing that than having
Or-
to get used to 2 new characters.
They could have just brought back Apophis for the 35th time and had to kill him one more
That's
time.
true.
Well, I heard that had Atlantis went on, they would have brought back Michael as a clone.
Really?
Yeah.
I
But
would
that
have
was
been
one
okay
of their
with that.
plans. And
Michael's
I would have been
cool.
okay with that. Because
Yeah.
I liked Michael as a villain.
Yeah.
Me too.
Just don't bring back Ford. I hated him. Hated him when he was good, hated him when he was bad.
Really?
Yeah.
He was. I don't know. I
didn't
didn't really
hate him.
think much of him
he
until.
was a token black guy that didn't have anything to do except for, like, follow orders.
Right.
Once he was the
he
bad
was a
guy.
background character until,
Yeah.
like,
He flipped out.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Well, that's
he
what
was just like-
druggies do.
Druggies do flip out.
You
Don't
know?
do drugs, kids.
Or,
Stay in school.
what is it? The Wraith juice.
The Wraith
Right.
juice.
Don't
He
do
was,
Wraith
he was
juice.
juicing,
He was I love that the Wraith juice was just steroids.
basically.
Steroids
I
with,
mean, he
like,
was having
hard
roid
drugs.
rage.
Yeah.
I mean, it was basically steroids.
Yeah. But Once Upon a Time,
Yes. It's a good show. But totally worth watching,
they're
honestly.
making a spin-off.
Like,
Is that going to be renewed? Like, or is that show over?
no, I think it's renewed.
Okay. The only reason I ask is they had that sequel spin-off of Once Upon a Time
No,
in
it definitely is,
Wonderland.
because I looked it up.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
Okay. I was just curious. I saw that because I don't watch the show, and I didn't
Yeah.
know if that meant they were canceling it. and
No, I
just
mean, they kind of
starting something
sort of
new.
ended on a cliffhanger, you know?
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, you definitely should watch it if you haven't watched it.
All right.
My next show, and I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but Person of Interest. Do you guys watch it?
No.
Have you seen any of it?
No, but I everything about it sounds like I would love it.
It's really cool. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is another show that I started from season 1, episode 1, you know,
Yeah.
and just love it. It's got Jim Caviezel in it, you know, and
Jesus.
yeah, and I can never think of the guy's name from Lost. He played Ben on Lost. Ben
Yeah.
Linus, is that right?
Yeah.
But when I hear his name, I always know who he is, but I can never think of his name, you know. But basically, this guy, the guy from Lost, creates this computer that attaches to every cell phone, every video camera, every laptop that has a screen or a mic or something, you know, and it basically just is recording at all times, trying to pick
Right.
up keywords. Like, they developed it after 9/11, you know, to try to catch terrorists before they commit these atrocities.
So he does work for the government then.
He did work for the
He
government.
no
you
longer
find
does,
out.
yeah.
Well, what happens is this computer starts predicting murders and stuff, you know,
Oh.
and the government is like, we don't care about, you know, all these people that are getting killed. We only care about, you know, terrorist acts and whatnot. So he just, you know, he can't let it go that all these people are dying and it could be stopped, you know. So, he seeks out and finds Jim Caviezel, who is like a retired, like, special ops agent, you know,
Mhm.
who is, you know, everyone thinks he's dead, you know, he doesn't really have a name or anything anymore. And, he's well trained.
Right.
So what he does is every week they'll be following another person because the computer just spits out a social security number. I think.
Okay.
They don't know whether that person is the killer or the person being killed.
Oh.
So they have to kind of like hang back and watch and try to find out what's going on without
Figure out what's going
alerting
on.
these people that they're watching them, you know,
Right.
because they might either be going to save their life or going to stop them from killing someone.
Mhm.
Yeah, so then it, you know, it ends with a climax, and they either save their life or they stop them from killing whoever they're going to kill. And it's really interesting, and they keep it really fresh. I think. And
Yeah.
I think it's a really good idea for a show. I just really enjoy it.
I thought it was funny because you and I went to Louisville Wednesday night to go see Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes' new movie, the Super Groovy cartoon movie, which is really funny. I enjoyed it. But during the Q&A, Kevin Smith was talking about how Jason Mewes is trying to get him into the show to watch it, and he's just like, it's Batman. Like, Jim Caviezel is Batman, and the guy from Lost is Alfred, and the detective in it is like Jim Gordon. Like, it's spot on
Really?
Batman. Like, it's the whole premise. Like, he is a badass ex-CIA guy that can do whatever, but people don't know it's
Right.
him. And
Yeah, and this Ben guy has unlimited funds, basically, because he designed this computer for the government and made
Right.
billions off of it or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
So he's the backing the whole operation, you
It's
know.
Batman
and,
without a mask.
yeah, it's basically Batman. I get it.
I wanted to watch it. It's
I have
just been
season
one of those
one on
shows.
Blu-ray. I'll let you borrow it.
Well, I wish you could put it on your Vudu.
I know.
That's the biggest thing about getting into shows now. If I don't immediately get into it, I'm just like, I'll wait like 5 years till it's on Netflix.
Right, and then watch
So-
the whole series or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did with Supernatural.
Right.
So when my friends were into it, it was like season 4, season 5, and I was like, I don't have any way to get into this shy of spending $60-$70 on a season.
Right.
Right.
So
Which I think I have season 1 through 5.
you do. But I've got Netflix.
They're on Netflix now.
Right.
Netflix is wonderful.
I
It brings
just always
people together.
the reason that I start watching shows is because Black Friday Walmart has TV seasons on sale for like $10
That's true.
or something. So I'll just go buy like 5 seasons of a show, you know, and then like Fringe, I think I did that with Fringe. I think that like over the last couple of years they've had seasons 1 through 3 of Fringe for really cheap, so I've ended up buying them.
I need to watch that show too.
It's another one I've never watched that I own.
It's only like 4 seasons, isn't it?
Yeah, I
That's
think
short.
so. My next show is Raising Hope. Do you guys watch it? Have you seen
No,
Raising
I haven't
Hope?
seen Raising
Have you
Hope.
seen Raising Hope?
No, I know our friend John likes that show as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love it. It's made by the same people that made My Name is Earl. Did you guys watch My Name
I
is
watched
Earl?
A little
My Name is
bit
Earl.
here and there. I liked it.
loved My Name is Earl. And
It was great.
it's, you know, if you don't know what the show's about, it's about a guy that has a one-night stand with a girl, and the next morning they find out that she's a serial killer.
Yeah.
So, the mom like knocks her out, and it turns out she's pregnant. So she has this baby in prison, and so he gets custody of the baby, and he's like, you know, they're just this really white trash family, like really
Super
poor. They live with
dysfunctional.
the dad's mom, and they're really dysfunctional, and they don't know anything about raising kids, of course, because they had him when they were like 15, you know.
Yeah.
So all the time you see about how he was raised poorly, and so he doesn't know any better, you know, and he's trying to raise this baby, and there's a love interest, of course, and then
Every random episode I've seen has made me laugh.
yeah, it's funny,
But
and it's the grandma's kind of senile, like she. Once in a while, she'll just like wake up and she'll be like, "Why are you people in my house?" But for the most time, she's just kind of like crazy old granny, you know. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'd watch a show with this crazy old granny.
Yeah,
But
she's good in it.
The Beverly Hillbillies?
Yeah,
yeah, maybe it is the modern day Beverly Hillbillies.
Kind of.
Without the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. If hillbillies really did to go to the hills with no money, this is what would happen.
And the last show on my list, and there's a big question mark by it, is Shaun Saves the World. I hadn't even heard about this show until today when I was looking at fall lineups, and I watched the trailer for it, and it looked funny enough that I will at least give it a couple episodes to impress me. So
It just sounds like if the flamboyant gay guy from Will and Grace had a daughter and a verbally abusive mother, that's the show.
right.
And like I told you, I'll probably watch it just because it does look funny, but I want this actor to do something else. Like, he spent how many seasons of Will and Grace being the same character? Like,
Right.
show me something new.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It looks funny. I'll probably watch it.
I'll watch it. I think it'll be funny. One that I kind of want to talk about that I haven't actually had a chance to watch yet, but you guys might have, is Beware the Batman.
I saw that.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen any of the episodes yet, but
They've just released some footage, right?
I think,
They haven't
no,
released-
episode 3 aired
it's
today.
only 4 episodes
Yeah,
already.
I think you can watch episode 1 and 2 on CartoonNetwork.com.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, my thing is, it's hard for me to go online and actually, I can't find that right now. It's hard for me to go online and see if people are liking the show or not, because unfortunately they took down like 2 really, I think, really great like superhero cartoon shows. They took those down so they could put Batman up there.
Yeah,
and
I
so
don't
many
like that.
people are mad because it's like they took down Young Justice, which was
Which I really liked, Young
fantastic.
Justice, and I need to finish it. I watched all of season 1 and half of season 2, I think, and I need to, or maybe I didn't even get that far into season 2. I don't know, but I need to watch it.
It was wonderful, and just a lot of people are complaining about like
What's the other one they took down?
Like Green Lantern. It was like an animated series.
Well, I think this is kind of the same way. I think there's a lot of CGI in this, or it's all CGI or something.
Yeah, that just doesn't interest me.
Yeah,
people are just complaining. It's like we've had how many Batman cartoon series?
So many.
Yeah, and like...
But I don't care. I mean, I love the 90s Batman series.
I did too.
I never watched Batman Beyond.
You would like it.
I've never seen it.
Batman Beyond's wonderful.
I loved The Batman.
Yeah, me
I
too.
liked Batman the Brave and the Bold a lot.
I think that's probably my favorite one.
Really?
Yeah.
It's really campy and fun.
It's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it really, if I had a kid and I wanted to get him into Batman, I would have him watch Brave and the Bold before any of the other ones.
Really? Even the 90s Batman series?
Yeah.
Because it's so good.
Well, because yes, it is, but I'm thinking like 8, 9-year-old kid want to watch Batman. Brave and the Bold. Introduce you to a whole bunch of new characters, and it's super fun.
It's great for the new characters that kids wouldn't be familiar with.
Right.
Yeah.
Not necessarily new characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it had a lot of different characters in it.
It's just Batman team up, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, it was good.
So much fun.
Oh. I really liked on that show that they took their time getting to Superman.
Yes.
Though. It wasn't immediately a Batman-Superman team up. It went on quite a while before they had a Batman-Superman team up.
It was last
and I
season
really liked that.
Clark loves that episode. I've probably watched that episode 300 times, though.
Oh, yeah.
The one with Superman. Yeah. I mean, we watched it so much that Clark actually thought that Superman was a bad guy. Like,
I think my favorite episode of that it's near the end where Batman finds Joe Chill and what? No.
I think that's the last episode, isn't it?
No, it's like the third to last one. But it's the Spectre and the Phantom Stranger are talking about what is Batman going to do whenever he finds Joe Chill.
That's one of the last episodes?
Yeah, it's one of the last ones. But like Mark Hamill voices the Spectre and Kevin Connolly voices the Phantom Stranger. So you have like Batman as Phantom Stranger and Joker as the Spectre, and they're just like, is he going to kill him or is he going to bring him to justice?
Right.
Is it justice or vengeance? And it's that show made me.
It
made the child inside of me super happy.
For as campy as the show was, they did have a lot of great episodes like that.
Yeah, they had really good stories to it. Like they actually had a pretty good season-wide arc for each one.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, hard.
Okay.
All right, Jordan, what do you got?
My shows are interesting because I knew that you guys were going to name, like, especially Lawrence, like every show that you mentioned, like, you're excited about coming back next year, like I was fully on board with as well. So instead of just repeating you, I can't remember when it was, but it was earlier this summer when the different television networks announced all their new shows coming out in the fall. And like I watched all the trailers for those and I got really excited about those. So I figured I would make my part of just talking about just a few shows that I am really excited about. And I may just kind of like glance over the ones that I'm really excited about, but I didn't really want to talk about. The first one is probably the one that I'm most excited about, and that is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And it's a comedy I want to say it's on Fox, but it's got Andy Samberg in it, and Terry Crews, and Andre...
Isn't Terry Crews like the mayor?
No, he's just another detective.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's about this Brooklyn Nine-Nine precinct.
Right.
Previously, with Andy Samberg, and it previously was like, they do their job, but they're like, silly, pulling pranks on one another, and like, whatever.
Super Troopers.
So it's kind of like a Reno 911, Super Troopers.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And then they have this like very, very uptight sergeant come in to like change everything else, and like forces Andy Samberg's character to be more responsible. And he's a good detective in the first place, but just be more of an adult.
Right.
And like the jokes and gags on that trailer were fantastic. Like I laughed every second of that. And I'm a huge fan of Andy Samberg. Like I love Lonely Island. I loved him in SNL. There are a few movies that he's done, like
Hot Rod.
I loved Hot Rod.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Hot Rod was fantastic to me. But the one he did with Adam Sandler,
That's My Boy.
That's My Boy. It didn't really go for me at all. But I'm excited about that. I think it looks hysterical. Like it honestly, to me, looks like the funniest show that's coming out in this fall.
Yeah, it looks funny.
So I'm really, really pumped about that. I had on here a Michael J. Fox show that I really liked. There's The Millers, which is pretty much like, it's got Will Arnett in it, And it's about how he just divorced his wife and he moves out, get like his own place and everything. And then his parents end up splitting up as well. And his mom comes to live with him and he has to deal with trying to find a new woman, start a new life, and then also dealing with his parents' fallout and all that stuff. It looks pretty funny. And it's got the guy from SG-1 at the very end, not Hammond.
Bridges?
Yeah.
Bo Bridges?
Bo Bridges is in it, and then the crazy mom from Nick's mom on New Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Margaret something.
Yeah.
Like, she's a hysterical actress. Like, she's one of my favorite older actresses. Like, she kind of burst on the scene and is hilarious to me. The other one I have that I'm really excited about is called Mind Games, and it's got, I think it's Christian Slater and Steve Zahn are in it, and it's about how, like, they go in as a company that tells people, we can pretty much get you whatever you want. Like, for instance, they talk about, like, I think in, like, the pilot episode, they're trying to convince these doctors to do this surgery on this kid who they're like, it's too expensive, the family doesn't have the money to pay for it, it's not worth their time. But it's all about how they can set people up to have them agree with whatever they want to do. Like, put them in the mindset of, like if they want them to really help out this person who can't help themselves, set them up put them in situations where they're helping other people and they feel really good about themselves and therefore help this other family. Like, it's all about, like, going into their lives and manipulating these situations to benefit these other people. And it's not to harm the people they're trying to manipulate, but it looks just really, really interesting. And Steve Zahn is in it, and they nod to the fact that he's kind of crazy in a way. So, yeah. I think it looks really interesting. I'm going to watch that just because I'm really big in psychology, and I think that looking at how people's thinking works and how to make their behavior the way you want it to sounds really interesting to me. The other one that I mentioned, because prior to me knowing what's happening in How I Met Your Mother, like, I thought it was a really, really interesting concept that I feel like it's not going to work, but I'll watch it because it's a cool concept. And it's called Mixology, and it's all about just these random single people all go out to this bar, and it's the entire season's over the course of one night.
Really?
Yeah. That they're going to this bar, and everyone's just trying to, like, find a new girlfriend or things like that.
Yeah, and it's just about,
and
like, conversations.
Yeah,
like,
it's just...
Each show is like a...
Yeah, and it's got, like, 3 group of guy friends who are, like, trying to help his buddy who just got dumped by his girlfriend find a new girl, and I think one of them is, this girl is going on a blind date with a guy, and she brings her best friend to come with her, like, they're just meeting for drinks and, to be safe or whatever. Like,
buffer.
Yeah, buffer. Like, just little things like that, and I'm really big in dialogue and just interactions with people, so I think it looks interesting. I don't think it'll go past, like, 5 episodes, but I think it'd be cool.
Probably not.
There's Mom, which has got Anna Faris in it, and it's just about Mom trying to raise her kid after she's been raised by her mother, who she felt like she raised her poorly. She's like, her mom's like an alcoholic and recovering alcoholic. And
I'm
stuff
seeing
like
a theme here with poor parenting on this list of shows. So weird.
I'm excited about Resurrection, which is a child randomly appears in China, like it's a Caucasian normal little kid, shows up in China, and they figure out who he is, and they bring him back to his family, and it turns out that child died in, like, drowned when, like, their car, like, dad's driving car goes into the ocean, and he drowns and dies, but he comes back, and he hasn't aged at all over the course of, like, 10 or so years, and so it's, like, family who has mourned the loss of their child's alive again, and, like, how that messes with them, and no one understands why he came back or why, and it looks interesting. It looks kind of miracle-y, and some of those shows are really good. One show I'm really excited about is Sleepy Hollow, which is about Ichabod Crane wakes up from, like, however long a coma it is, and it talks about how he was in cahoots with George Washington, and they made, like, this map of, like, Sleepy Hollow, and it talks about the Headless Horseman and all the other, like, it seems like pseudo-supernatural stuff that's going on, and he has to help solve them, because he has, like, a diary. It looks very much like Supernatural, really.
Mm-hmm.
And he teams up with this cop who is the daughter of a police officer that just died, and he has like all these files.
Is this modern day then?
Modern day Sleepy Hollow.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like he wakes up from a coma and he has this diary of things, of like super, like stuff that he has, like he was going to do, and the cop's father has all these files of supernatural things going on. It really is. It sounds like Supernatural, but instead of like devils and demons and angels, it's like in this Sleepy Hollow world of like.
Huh.
And they said at Comic-Con about the Headless Horseman's going to be in it.
Yeah, like
and
he's
the other Horseman of the Apocalypse or something. I mean,
yeah. I think that's what they're trying to do, is saying that the Headless Horseman is actually a Horseman of the Apocalypse. Yeah. But it looks really interesting to me, and of course there's always those little jokes about like fish out of water, of talking about the internet, and he's just like, oh, what's Ichabod Crane? Oh, what's the internet? What's a computer? Like,
Right.
that kind of stuff usually makes me laugh.
Basically, Seth Green from Sex Drive.
Yeah.
Computer?
It's like a big calculator.
I'm just kidding. I know what a computer is.
Trophy wife interests me. It's just a guy marries a young woman, like older guy marries a young woman, and she tries to be a good housewife and raise kids, but then like ex-wife is around and hilarity ensues. It looks really funny. It's got the lady from the Heartbreak Kid, and she was in Watchmen as well. She was a Silk Spectre in Watchmen. I can't remember her name. I can look it up here in a little while. I should have. Malin Ackerman is the Silk Spectre chick, but then Marcia Gay Harden.
Marcia Gay Harden?
Yeah, Marcia. I don't know why I said Marcia. But she's the ex-wife, and she's like super critical, and like it's just that's what that actress can play really well, and it looks really funny. I think a reformed party girl finds herself in an instant family after falling in love with a man with 3 manipulative kids and 2 judgmental ex-wives.
Awesome.
So it sounds really funny, I think. They're making a TV show about a boy, like based on the novel and the movie with Hugh Grant in it, but it doesn't have anyone in it. It's just kind of like if they made the novel as a TV series. Yeah. And I loved the movie About a Boy, so I'll give this a shot. You've already talked a little bit about Almost Human. I'm excited about Dads, which is a sitcom from Seth MacFarlane that has Seth Green in it, and
Now, wait, are they going to be bad parents?
yes, it's about bad parents. It's about
I've seen that one coming, especially when you say dads.
Yeah,
Right.
Dad's always the bad guy or the bad parent in sitcoms.
2 successful guys in their 30s have had their lives turned upside down when their nightmare dads unexpectedly move in with them. And like Seth Green and
Is it Giovanni Ribisi?
Giovanni Ribisi, they are video game creators,
Oh yeah.
and their dads move in with them, and Giovanni Ribisi is married, and all the hilarity ensues, and it looks really good. Like the dads are Martin Mull and Peter, I can't say his last name, Rejert or whatever, the guy from Animal House. It looks really campy and hokey, and
Yeah,
I'm a bad parent jokes.
Seth MacFarlane-y, basically.
Yeah. And it's a laugh track sitcom, but
Right.
I'll give it a chance because I love Seth Green. Like I really like Robot Chicken, and I totally dig like his geekiness.
Yeah.
So I'm on board with that. And the last one that I want to talk about is, and not so much that I'm excited about, but I'm glad that they are making a show like this again. And it's the Goldbergs, which is, imagine the Wonder Years, but in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
So it's about a kid who is like 18 years old, and he's walking around. It's kind of like documentary type style. He's walking around with a camera,
Okay.
and he's like filming his family and all the dysfunctionalness of
See, I
it.
hate that. I mean, I just hate that style of filmmaking.
I doubt it'll be
Like, I hope that, that's just like the beginning or the opening or something. It's just him filming.
Like
and then
the
it
Wonder
goes
Years?
to-
yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty much saying this is the Wonder Years, but in the 80s.
Okay.
And not that I ever watched The Wonder Years, but like to my
It was a good
parents,
show.
yeah, to my parents, like they're like this, they love that show.
Oh yeah, I like the Wonder Years a lot.
So I'd like to give the Goldbergs a shot and there's a
I'll
lot
watch
of
it.
like funny actors in it as well.
I
So
hadn't even heard of it. I'll watch
thank you,
it.
you, buddy.
You're welcome. I'll
That's
do
what-
that for you.
I think that's what we should do is like try to keep track of all these shows that we talked about how we're excited and
See if we're actually
Yeah.
excited.
see like after like a month of these shows out, like are we still on board with it? Are we going to keep watching it? Or even just after the pilot, like
Mhm.
have that. We'll have a podcast like that. If you guys are interested in that, let us know. Yeah, that's all the shows I have
All right.
Anything
off
else?
the top of my head.
No, there's little things that could be mentioned, like Supernatural is coming back
Yeah.
again. Be sure to check out Supernatural.
Is that the
Which-
last season of Supernatural?
I don't know.
I don't. They haven't said this is for sure the last one, but it's
I thought
what,
last season
9?
was going to be the last season, but
I don't know.
Huh.
and then
I watched interviews of them at Comic-Con, and everyone is like really, really pumped about this coming season. Yeah, but
I don't know. There's
Let
gotta
us-
be other shows coming back that we just hadn't thought of.
Oh, yeah.
But
let us know in the comments of shows that you think that we would like that we didn't mention, or shows that you're excited about in the fall. They can be new or old or